President Trump had tweeted yesterday that all of the documents would be released today as per the 1992 Act of Congress, stating that all classified documents connected to the assassination be made public no later than today. But instead, in a memorandum sent out earlier to government officials, the president said he had no choice but to bow to pressure by the CIA, FBI, and other federal agencies to withhold several hundred of the files. Quote, "I have no choice today but to accept those redactions rather than allow potentially irreversible harm to our nation's security." But the memo also states that while he is giving those agencies 6 months to review the documents deemed too sensitive, they will need a good reason to keep them redacted. Quote, "Any agency that seeks to request further postponement beyond this temporary certification shall adhere to the findings of the Act, which state, among other things, that only in the rarest cases is there any legitimate need for continued protection of such records. The need for continued protection can only have grown weaker with the passage of time since the Congress made this finding."
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade route. There's numerous people running up the hill alongside Elm Street, there by the Simmons Freeway.
As for the documents that are being released, they run the gamut. One is the minutes of the 1960s investigation into the assassination. It confirms officials knew Lee Harvey Oswald had met with Russian and Cuban officials in Mexico during his mysterious 6-day trip there. This exchange is between an FBI agent and a senator concerned that no one kept tabs on Oswald upon his return in September of 1963. FBI agent: "Oswald wrote me in early 1962 to help expedite an exit visa for his wife. Why in the world would he tell a plopper like that?" Unknown senator: "In any event, he told what the agent knew was lies, and what I am trying to get at is there was no analysis within the Bureau of any of this. He even goes to Mexico City, contacts the Cuban consulate, and the Soviet embassy happens to be in contact. We don't know if there's anything sinister about it, with an agent who is known to be KGB by the FBI and by the CIA, and suspected of being Department 13, which is their assassination and sabotage squad. In any event, he then returns to the United States, is never again interviewed by the FBI." End quote. While this doesn't prove the Russians or Cubans were involved, it certainly will feed conspiracy theories. There's another interesting document. It's from FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, and it shows the Soviets considered Oswald a maniac, and they felt that there was a right-wing conspiracy, and they feared that it could lead to war. This from Hoover. They felt that those elements would then utilize this act to stop negotiations with the Soviet Union, attack Cuba, and thereafter spread the war. As a result of these feelings, the Soviet Union immediately went into a state of national alert. End quote. As for other big conspiracy theories, such as a second shooter or a CIA cover-up, nothing so far from these documents. Now, some of the other documents released are more wide-ranging. Confirmation the Americans had considered chemical attacks on Cuba during the early years of the Cuban Revolution. From a 1962 meeting on Operation Mongoose, Mr. Bundy, presidential advisor Mac Bundy, said he has no worries about any such sabotage, which could clearly be made to appear as the result of a local Cuban disaffection or of a natural disaster, but that we must avoid external activities such as release of chemicals unless they could be completely covered up. End quote. And in the 1975 Summary of Facts report on assassinations, confirmation the CIA had tried to kill Fidel Castro. Quote, "The commission has determined that agents of the CIA were involved in planning in this country with certain citizens and others to seek to assassinate Cuban Premier Fidel Castro." End quote. The CIA also considered killing several other leaders, including Indonesia's Sukarno. There are also hundreds of receipts in these documents released today. They're for clandestine projects, including tens of thousands of dollars in payoffs.
The president was hit in the head. That's an unconfirmed report that the president was hit in the head.